Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday. Start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays. Get the midweek boost you need. Sadhana Saturdays. Dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. Welcome. Today, we're exploring a truth that many of us already feel deep down. Faking it works until it doesn't. We live in a culture that often rewards appearances over authenticity, performance over presence, and productivity over truth. And somewhere along the way, many of us learned how to perform versions of ourselves that kept us safe, accepted, or successful. This is not about shame or self-judgment. It's about awareness, compassion, and coming home to what's real. There is a cost to inauthenticity. And faking just can't be sustained. And you'll find that there's power when you are authentically aligned. So as we discuss today, I invite you to notice where you may be holding, bracing, pretending, or pushing. And gently ask yourself, what would it feel like to no longer carry that weight? To release and be my true, authentic self. To embrace the power of being authentically aligned. So let's first get started with explaining what do we mean by the term faking it. When we hear this phrase, fake it, we often think of dishonesty, but faking it is usually much more subtle. It's often unconscious. For example, it's faking emotions we don't feel, suppressing emotions we do feel, playing roles to meet an expectation, over-identifying with titles, identities, or personas, saying yes when our body says no, performing confidence while ignoring inner collapse. Most of us didn't choose this consciously, we adapted. And it stems sometimes from childhood conditioning, cultural expectations, survival strategies, or trauma responses. And sometimes it's fear of rejection or abandonment. Faking it is not a flaw, it's an intelligent survival mechanism that once served a purpose. Our body always knows when we're not aligned with our truth, even when the mind has rationalized it. As I mentioned, there's a cost of inauthenticity, and it's often at the detriment of our nervous system. Physiologically, when we are inauthentic, we have chronic sympathetic activation, stuck in fight or flight. We experience a low-grade stress response. We have an emotional labor overload. We're stuck in masking and vigilance. There's a disassociation from our body cues. And when we fake it, our nervous system is working hard. It's working overtime to maintain a lie, even one that may be socially acceptable. Our body will give us a sign that we're not being authentic to our true selves. Our body will tell us when we're faking it. It'll show up as fatigue that rest just cannot fix. We may experience tension in our jaw, throat, or chest. We may experience digestive issues, shallow breathing, brain fog, or irritability. It's not a weakness. It's our body signaling us and asking for coherence. And this is why faking it eventually breaks down. You cannot sustainably live out of alignment with yourself, with your truth. This misalignment will show up at a breakdown point of burnout, emotional numbness, a sudden life change, or loss of motivation. Sometimes the breakdown point is anxiety or depression or physical illness. The longer we perform, the louder our body will speak to us. And this is the friction between your truth and misperception. The soul doesn't punish us, it interrupts us. Wake up. Tell the truth. Sometimes we fake it so hard, which makes it so hard to let go. And that sometimes becomes who we think we are, trapping us in an identity that is not who we really are. And who we really are is the truth without the performance. And there are identity layers or aspects that we create: the strong one, the healer, the successful one, the peaceful one, the together one. All titles and aspects that we may be a portion of, but we're not all of those things all the time. And sometimes we actually really never are. And when authenticity threatens your true identity, your ego may panic. Authenticity doesn't remove who you are, it reveals who you've been carrying underneath the masks of those aspects or layers. So ask yourself this question: who am I when I stop explaining myself? What am I afraid would happen if I showed up honestly? Where am I loyal to an image instead of my inner knowing? Energy follows truth. And you may experience leakage in your energy when you are faking it. And the leaks are the beginning of the truth breaking out to be true, to align. And you'll notice when you begin overcompensating, overgiving, overfunctioning, emotional, reacting to everything and feeling resentment. When you fake it, energy leaks sideways. You feel irritated and exhausted and you collapse. Once you step into your truth, once you begin to align with who you truly are and you present and represent your truth, this alignment will restore wholeness. From an energetic perspective, inauthenticity creates fragmentation in the subtle body. And pieces of us are working against each other. Because you may be saying and presenting one thing, yet your body is saying another. When you stop faking it, it means you're being internally honest. Your internal matches your external. Stopping doesn't mean it oversharing or being reckless. It just means shifts where you experience relief in your body. You have clearer boundaries. You may have fewer, but they will be more deeper connections. You'll have an energy that you can sustain, and you will have self-trust. And all of the goings on of the aspects that you created get quieter or go away. Life itself may become more quiet, but it will be more true. And there's often grief sometimes when we stop faking it. Grief for the approval we no longer chase, the versions of ourselves that we outgrow. Grief is not regression, it is integration. And when you're ready to stop faking it, it's not always gentle. It is honest, and it's a very responsible step. And it may feel deeply liberating, especially when faking has been protecting you for a long time. Especially if some of the faking it has trauma attached. So there are precautions that you can take when you stop faking it, and there's support that you can seek, each aligned with respecting your nervous system and your integrity. So begin by going slowly. Truth doesn't need a shock value. Radical honesty without any regulation can become another form of harm. And this is because faking it often stabilizes relationships, identities, and nervous systems. And when you snatch it away or remove it too quickly, it can feel like ripping off a band-aid that hurts or removing a support system. So practice. Tell yourself the truth internally before you declare it externally. Take the time to analyze and assess how you feel. Reflect. You don't owe anyone or everyone an immediate access to your internal inner world. Discernment is not dishonesty. Sit with it for a moment. And be sure not to confuse authenticity with emotional dumping. Being real doesn't mean unloading unprocessed emotions onto others. So be sure to avoid oversharing to relieve pressure. Be sure to be mindful of your truth, not to use it to discharge anger or pain, or to seek validation under the guise of honesty. Authenticity also includes self-containment and timing. And expect that there may be some grief or disorientation or loss of identity. When you stop faking it, you may lose who you thought you were. And this is important because it helps you discover who you truly are. And sometimes this shows up as sadness without a clear reason, or feeling unmotivated or untethered. You may begin to question roles, relationships, and purpose. Don't interpret this as a failure. It's integration. It's regression. It's part of the process. Be sure to watch out for overload of your nervous system. Slow down. Truth lands faster than the body sometimes can process it, and it feels unsafe. If you're feeling panic or dissociation, flood of emotions, agitation or insomnia, or you feel like you just want to withdraw, it's important to have support, as grounding matters more than insight. Authenticity is not about rising above your humanity. Make sure you are not forcing peace when anger is present. Make sure you're not using your spirituality to avoid boundaries and pretending to be healed to feel acceptable. The truth often resides in the messy middle of the entire thing. Seek help. When faking it is based in a trauma survival strategy, make sure you reach out to a trauma-informed therapist, a somatic practitioner, a practitioner certified in EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a psychotherapy technique to help heal from emotional distress that is often associated with a traumatic memory. Seek the help of these professionals if you've learned to perform faking for safety. If you feel unsafe when you express needs or emotions, or when you are authentic and it triggers fear, shame, or unable to move as if you're frozen. When you're dropping the mask, if it triggers anxiety or depression, if you're experiencing persistent panic or hopelessness, inability to function or intrusive thoughts, or just an emotional numbness that just won't lift, it's not a weakness, it's just your system asking for regulation. Seek the help. And if relationships become volatile or unsafe, when honesty leads to manipulation or retaliation, if you fear abandonment or harm, or you're questioning your reality, be sure to seek a neutral guide or help. Sometimes identity collapse can be terrifying if you do not have support. So it's important to make sure that you are not feeling empty or real, and that you understand meaning and direction. And also, make sure that if your authenticity triggers use of any substances to cope, overworking, over-exercising, or rigid control, anything to numb a behavior, support will help you with regulation. Healing authenticity does not have to be a solo project. So take a moment to return to what's real. If it feels safe for you, close your eyes. Feel your breath without changing it. Notice where effort lives within your body. Ask yourself, where am I performing right now? Then ask, what would honesty feel like here? Not action, just truth. Notice you don't need to fix it today. Awareness alone begins with just noticing. That's the key and the first step to release. Take a deep breath in and you can open your eyes. Faking it cannot be sustained. It's not because you're failing, but it's because your physical system, your body is evolving. Authenticity is not a personality trait. It's a nervous system state. It's a spiritual alignment. It's a homecoming. And if you've had to fake it, don't be hard on yourself. It means you were trying to survive, not deceive. You don't stop faking it by force. You stop when your body learns it's finally safe to be real. May you have the courage to listen to the quiet truth beneath the performance. And may you trust that who you are without the mask is already enough. May your internal align with your external. Thank you for sharing time and space today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.